the police officers help protect the Constitution that gives us the freedom of religion that can actually turn this nation around. We're a nation that may be turning our back to religion a little bit, depending on what statistics you look at. But we still have the freedom of religion to be able to turn back to God, to turn back to Christ. And I think that's an important thing. And police officers today, law enforcement today, helps protect that freedom. My background is law enforcement, and I've worked local and state type of law enforcement work. I've worked for a state police agency, 2 local agencies. One's very, very small police agency, and the other one is one of the top 50 agencies in the United States. And so I come from a practitioner background. My background spans from street and patrol work all the way to homicide detective and supervisory work as well. My daughter was visiting various campuses to decide the university that she wanted to go to. And we're sitting over at the Vine Center, which is behind us right now, and convocation was going on, and I actually leaned over to my wife and said, I think God is calling me to teach at Liberty University. And now I'm the Criminal Justice Chair Program Director of the online and residential programming, and it's an exciting program. We have not only just a criminal justice program like a lot of universities would have, but we also have different tracks students can take, from criminal psychology to crime scene investigations, and about 5 other tracks. And we're just excited about that students can place themselves in not only criminal justice, but where they're interested, and move from there. When we look at the duty of the police and the governing authorities, in our government classes all the way through our criminal justice classes and many other classes across this campus, we teach what the government should be doing, and in the classes that we teach in criminal justice specifically, we teach what the police should be doing. And it's a relatively easy study with some complex components to it, I think. We look a lot of times at Romans to determine where do the police get their authority, where does government get its authority, and that all government authority is God ordained. And so we actually teach at Liberty that criminal justice is a noble profession, is a profession that's God ordained because we're actually working for the government, and government is God ordained. And again, we teach this objective truth that we're looking for truth, that we're looking to bring those to justice that need to be brought to justice. And so I think it's an exciting time to say that government is God ordained. It's an exciting time to say that police officers, especially in the program that we teach here, are those that are God ordained. In fact, here's a charge that I give our students. I go, you need to be praying for God to lead you into the profession that you need to go into, that He'll equip you, that He'll be beside you to get you through those things of criminal justice. And certainly we look at the news today, and we look at bad press about criminal justice professionals. We look at some that would lead us to think that the system is broke, and it's not. We look at what police officers do on a day in and day out basis. And police officers on a day in and day out basis go to those in need that may not be able to help themselves. They can't solve the problems themselves, so they call the police to help solve those problems. And that's a lot of weight on a police officer's shoulders. And that if you're not walking with God, and God hasn't called you to that profession, it would be very difficult to deal with it. I think the Christian community should be very concerned with the future of criminal justice and government in and of itself. I think that when we look at criminal justice, it's a very unique position if you think about it. It's the enforcement branch of the executive branch of the government in the United States. And so what our legislature enacts as laws, criminal justice enforces those laws. They're standing in the gap, if you think about it. They're standing in this very unique gap of protecting the Constitution and protecting the Bill of Rights without violating the Constitution and violating the Bill of Rights. And so that's a very interesting place to be. But they're really our front lines, potentially our final lines, in protecting the Constitution that we hold so dear. It's the Constitution that allows us our religious freedoms. our freedom of speech and those things that are unique to our country. And so I think a lot of times we may have pushback that the job is dangerous, that you wouldn't want the press, that type of press against you. What if questions. And I think if God is calling you to that profession, then you should go into that profession. He'll be with you. This is a God-ordained profession that we're standing in the gap here in the United States to protect that Constitution.